Your number one Christian hit station and the Strong Blue Line Ministries present Cop Talk. Welcome to the podcast where former San Antonio police officer, author, and pastor Tim Rupp takes you through real law enforcement scenarios and discusses excerpts from his books. This is Cop Talk at its best, and it starts now.
Hello and welcome to the Strong Blue Line's Cop Talk. I'm Tim Rupp in the Rev.FM studio in beautiful Idaho Falls. Still wintry here, Gary.
It sure is, Tim.
And that's the voice of Gary Austin. Listen to that deep baritone voice.
Goodness.
Gary Austin. Hey, Gary.
Hey, Tim Rupp.
Well, here we are. We're at the end of, normally this is the last day of February.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 years is 75% of the time.
That's what it
the
is.
Last day, but today's the second to last day of February because we have February 29th.
Yes.
And so we're looking forward to that extra day this year, making this year a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah.
Changes
things up a little bit.
Yeah, when you get to be our age, the years go by quickly. So anything that'll slow them down a little bit, we'll take an extra day. We'll take an extra 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good.
All right. That's good. That means, though, the electricity company gets an extra day to charge me for this month.
Oh.
Maybe it's not so good. Anyways,
Yeah.
It's still the shortest month of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like that old thing, hey, what month has 28 days in it?
All of them.
They all do. There you go. See, that's an old dad joke.
Yep. Old dad joke.
All right. Well, here we are. We're going to talk about the cartels and the borders, the border security and all that kind of stuff. It's all the way up to Montana, north of us.
Yeah.
With things going on. So we're gonna, and it comes from an NBC special on NBC News. So that's kind of
cool.
surprising.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, we got some other things to talk about. First, we'll talk about our Officer Down Memorial page, the officers that we honor who have given their lives on this date in history. So, City Marshal John T. Thompson, Covington Police Department, Kentucky. End of watch Sunday, February 28th, 1869.
Wow.
So, 40 years after the end of the Civil War.
Yeah.
Reconstruction. That started the Reconstruction yet? I don't know.
Anyways. Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty close to that, though. So, City Marshal John Thompson was shot in front of the toll house of the Cincinnati and Covington Bridge. It's a suspension bridge that goes across the Ohio River.
All right.
On February 2nd, 1869, as he attempted to arrest a person fitting the description of a burglar on the Lexington Turnpike. Now, I thought, Lexington Turnpike? I'm picturing a highway, concrete highway with pay tolls,
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up Lexington Turnpike. And this was just a travel route through Lexington. It went through a lot of different places.
Huh.
And it was a travel route. It was a man-made road, and it was actually the construction, I think, started in the 1830s.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and they had some things, but this went up to a suspension bridge, and so kind of neat history
Interesting. Yeah.
But
that's
because
cool.
that kind of threw me, Lexington Turnpike.
Yeah.
Anyways,
confusing.
This says here, the bullet entered his abdomen and buried itself in one of the lumbar vertebrae, producing a partial paralysis in the left lower extremity. It was not possible to remove the bullet, and Thompson succumbed to his injury on February 28, 1869. Now, picture this. This is just 4 years after the Civil War. We've all seen them pictures of the Civil War soldiers being worked on in the hospitals, and, before penicillin, before they realized all this stuff. So, you take a shot like this today would probably be survivable.
It's true.
But you don't know.
Yeah.
The murderer was never caught, though a $1,000 reward was offered for his identity. That's quite a high dollar reward for.
Sure is for that
at that time.
Yeah.
So, but he was never caught.
Huh.
Marshal Thompson, a Civil War veteran, was survived by his wife and son, who was born after his death. That's so sad,
Wow.
Grows up, so his wife was pregnant when he was killed. He's also survived by his mother and siblings. Marshal Thompson is believed to be the first Covington law enforcement officer to be killed in the line of duty. He is buried at St. Mary's Cemetery in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. 38 years old.
Hmm.
Oh, he was kind of an older gentleman for having just his first son.
He really was.
But
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Trevor
But
did
they're-
it 2 years, 1 month. What's up?
What it makes me wonder. It says the suspect was never caught. If he ended up getting in trouble again, but they just didn't tie it.
Yeah, they didn't know
to those kind of things. They
they didn't
but-
have fingerprint.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. That technology and obviously a DNA.
exactly. Yeah, but
I can't say
something like
DNA,
that.
DNA
It's-
wasn't around. DNA wasn't around. We
No.
just didn't know it.
Yeah.
We didn't know how to
Didn't have the
identify
technology
it and
for it.
stuff like that. Right.
Yeah. Very
So-
interesting.
Anyways, what do you have there, Gary?
This is Sergeant Joshua Caudell. He was shot and killed while assisting the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office with a canine track. This
Pulaski
is
County. That's
end
in
of
Arkansas,
March.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Pulaski County High School is where my wife graduated from high school.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Pulaski County, yep.
That's a pretty cool tie there. There's so this is Arkansas Department of Corrections. He worked for the Department of Corrections. So this deputy, deputies responded to a home to perform a welfare check on a woman who failed to show up at work. And so at this time, the sheriff's office requested the assistance from the Department of Corrections to conduct a canine track when the home was found vacant. Sergeant Caudell's canine led the officers to a trailer house, and as they approached the trailer, a man hiding underneath opened fire on these deputies, fatally wounding Sergeant Caudell. The man then fled, but he was captured the following day, which is good. The woman was later found safe as well. Sergeant Caudell had served with the Arkansas Department of Corrections for 9 years, and he was assigned to the Tucker unit, survived by his wife and 3 children. He was 29. So fairly young when he started with the Department of Corrections.
Yeah, 29 years old. And he worked at a prison.
Yeah.
And he had a tracking dog, so they must train him for in case the prisoner escapes.
Oh.
They go track him. But the police department uses, hey, you guys got a tracking dog? Because police department don't have tracking dogs. They have canines, but a lot of the rural communities don't have canine officers. It costs a lot of money to get a canine.
Sure.
And if you don't use them on a regular basis, but so the corrections department, they have one available, and they train and they attract the guy to a trailer.
Yeah.
And then the woman was found okay later on.
Yeah, later.
So we don't know what happened with her. It doesn't say. It
No.
doesn't say anything about that. But that's suspicious
Oh, my God.
circumstances. But yeah, and I guess you're just kind of visible out there. You're tracking your dog, and when canine officers track, I've never been a canine officer, but I've worked around a lot of them. They're watching the dog. Mm-hmm. They're keeping an eye on the dog. Where's the dog going? The hints the dog is given, whether the ears go up or, he's putting his nose in the in the air to sniff something. Whatever they do, they watch the dog. So they're really not watching the tactics around them and stuff.
Huh.
So, and this guy's laying there with a rifle or something, man. He could shoot an officer quite a ways off. That's too bad.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, but those are the officers that we're honoring today, February 28th. Now, Moose Ridge Coffee
Yes.
at the second week of May 13th through 18th at Moose Ridge Coffee, they're going to hold a fundraiser for the Strong Blue Line Foundation.
That is really cool.
That's my foundation. Of course, that foundation, Strong Blue Line Foundation, we provide training for police officers and police chaplains.
Yeah.
And we also, Sherry and I also do retreats for spouses and their wives and stuff like that.
That is cool.
So this is what
a
funds
great
that.
industry.
Yeah, so it really is. It's fun to do. It's very important. It's necessary. Sometimes it's a little bit heartbreaking, but it's a really a rewarding foundation. So, and that's May 13th through the 18th. they're going to have hats. They're doing up special hats. These are going to be pretty cool hats. They're going to have
Awesome.
them for sale, and the proceeds from the hats, plus a percentage of the proceeds, all that week's going to go to the Strong Blue Line Foundation.
Wonderful.
So that's
All
pretty
that is
cool.
really, really cool.
And you see, where is Moose Ridge Coffee, you ask? Well, I will tell you. It's at the Snake River Landing here in Idaho Falls.
Oh,
Snake River Landing.
Snake
If you know
River
where,
Landing.
if you know where the Stockman's Steakhouse is,
Okay.
they share the parking lot with Stockman's Steakhouse.
Got it.
So it's right there at
Easy.
Snake River Landing, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. in their hours of operation, Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
Sunday they're closed. Why are they closed on Sunday? Because Bo is a pastor of a local church here, and he's got to work that
cool.
day too.
Yeah.
So Sunday go to church, but Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Go by. They'll have special drinks. They're gonna have like blue drinks and blue this and blue that. So
fun.
it's gonna be cool.
That'll be really fun.
Yeah. So they're gonna they're honoring officers who've been killed in the line of duty by supporting the Strong Blue Line Foundation. So go out there and enjoy a drink. And Sherry and I are supposed to be out there. We plan on being out there all day Friday and Saturday.
Very cool. May
So
13th through the 15th.
Yeah, through the 18th.
18th.
Yeah,
Okay.
the 17th
That
and
week.
18th, Friday and Saturday. Sherry and I plan to be out there.
Wonderful.
So I'll be out there. I'll have books and stuff. They'll be available for sale and all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to that. Just in it's the end of April or end of February. This is May. It seems like a long time, but
Yeah.
it'll be
it's-
here quickly.
Yep.
And if you're older like us, it'll be here quicker than that. Whatever that means.
Yeah. Whatever that means.
Okay, so I pulled this article. This comes from, I think all the articles we have next couple weeks come from the Law Enforcement Today. Law Enforcement Day. It used to be a magazine, Law Enforcement Day. I'm not even sure they have the magazine. I think it's just all online now.
Is it?
A lot of magazines are like that.
Yeah.
Law Enforcement Day, and this is dated February 14th, so just 2 weeks ago. The title is Two Tribes, the Tohono O'odham, lands used to traffic illegal immigrants, drugs, Blackfoot tribe in Montana flooded with fentanyl. So I thought this was very interesting. You know, we're hearing a lot of stuff about the border crisis,
Yeah.
and all this going down there at the border, and people getting across, and there's a lot of, how should I say it? There's a lot of tension in America. There's a lot
really
of
is.
uncertainty
Yeah.
in the air. And remember, just as we're recording this, we just had the blackout with the phone service.
Yes.
So
AT&T. Yeah.
yeah, it's not confirmed yet whether that was a cyber attack, whether it was a hack, whether it was just malfunction equipment, whatever it is. It hasn't sure. By the time this is aired, we'll probably maybe get it figured out
Right.
and told to us. But there's a lot of things going on. Anyways, I'd like to read down to this article and talk about this as we go. In a February 10 special report, a team of NBC News explored the flood of cartel-supplied fentanyl and methamphetamines that are exploding throughout the Blackfoot Reservation in Montana, overwhelming the extremely limited tribal and federal law enforcement. Remember, Gary, on a reservation, there are tribal police, tribal law enforcement that work for the reservation, if you will,
Okay.
and they are considered federal officers, but they're limited to the a reservation. And then you have federal law enforcement officers. So if you have a major crime like a murder, for example, you'd have to actually the FBI go in and investigate that. So you have tribal police and you have federal law enforcement officers. Meanwhile, over 1,200 miles away, so that's in Montana, over 1,200 miles away on the lands of the Native American tribe, the Tohono O'odham, the disconnect between tribal, state, and federal governments had provided a fast lane for cartels to conduct drug and human smuggling. And so we're going to find out that these drugs are going up through one reservation because it's easy to get across that
I'll be
reservation
darned.
all the way up to another reservation. And it said that they're being supplied fentanyl and methamphetamines. Mm-hmm. And methamphetamines is speed. You know, it's a thing. And not too long ago, meth labs were all over the United States, and we've talked about this in the
Right.
past.
Yeah.
They're not so much anymore. Not because meth has gone away. It's just cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like it's cheaper to buy it in China. Well, it's cheaper to buy it through Mexico, through the cartels, than it is to make it here. The detailed report released by NBC News follows the journey of drugs, money, and weapons from the Mexican hinterlands. You know what hinterlands are?
No.
Well, Gary, you're going to learn what hinterlands are.
Okay, tell me.
Hinterlands is a remote, undeveloped area. The land left behind.
Oh.
Hinter, you got to kind of refer to the backlands. You know, that's a hinterlands, and I'll be honest with you, I looked it up. I kind of expected that's what it was, you know, something like that, but I wanted to make sure.
It sounds that way.
That because, you know, context. And anyways, so to the hinterlands, to the distant mountains of the last best place in America,
I'll be darned.
Montana. I never heard that, the last best place in America, Montana. That's pretty cool. Montana's a beautiful, beautiful state.
Oh, it is.
Gorgeous.
Very beautiful.
Yes. Here are the cartel traffickers. That's here in Montana. That's where it's being written from. The cartel traffickers have forged a makeshift empire on the reservation lands, establishing their trade in areas where the designer drugs can fetch top dollar compared to cities where they are more available. So they're selling a unique product, and they have no competition.
Exactly.
That means they can jack the prices up.
Yeah.
Man, Montana State Representative Marvin Weathermax Jr. of the Blackfoot Tribal Business Council told the outlet, right now it's as if fentanyl is raining on our reservation.
Wow.
That's terrible. I mean, that's some serious stuff.
That is not good.
When a crackdown by Montana authorities began, many were stunned to discover the drug enterprise tied to Mexico through the Santiola cartel and the Jalisco New Generation cartel, or CJNG. Jesse Lazovich, the U.S. Attorney for Montana tasked with oversight of the investigation, said, quote, "People are surprised. You're as far north as you can get in the United States, and yet we have the cartel here," end of quote. So you go any further north, you're going to hit Canada.
You're right.
And they're having a border problem in in Montana, down from the Mexican border. Wow. At this time, across the country, where the Jalisco cartel and the Santiola are more commonly encountered by law enforcement, the Arizona Republic reported that families have been fleeing the border in the wake of escalating cartel violence and flooding into the Tucson sector at the border. So a lot of those people coming over from Mexico, they're getting away from the violence. You know, Gary, I don't blame them for coming over here.
Me either.
You know, they're some of them that live there are literally running for their lives to America where they're safe. That's understandable. I get that, but there needs to be a proper way to do that.
Exactly, and that's what it's about.
If they're running, I think most of these people, they're fine. They're Mexican nationals. They want to live in their country, raise their families there, but they can't do it safely.
Right.
And so what we need to be doing, say, hey, Mexico, we'll help you out getting rid of these cartels. We've got a powerful military. We'll be more than happy to help you out. The Mexican government's got to be willing to do that. It lands on the lands of another tribe, lacking any kind of meaningful border wall that the epicenter of human and drug smuggling has formed. A startling November report from Bloomberg even detailed how young Americans are being duped on Snapchat, TikTok, and WhatsApp into being recruited by cartel-backed smugglers to transport illegal immigrants from the Tohono O'odham reservation into the country with the prospect of making a few $1,000s for a couple hours' work. So they're getting young people from America on these TikTok apps and these different apps. Hey, want to make a couple grand? Come and transport a couple people over.
Exactly.
Art Del Cueto, National Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council and Advisory Board member for Law Enforcement Today, said that there continues to be record number of entries and gotaways on the Tohono O'odham Nation. The cartels are very much aware that as long as the media concentrates on other areas of the border, they will continue to have free roam in areas on the reservation. Members of the Tohono O'odham Nation need to have a more vocal and active role in the border crisis, similar to what you see with other leadership in parts of Texas. So what they're saying is, Texas is trying to shore up their border. With Governor Abbott down there and all this stuff that's on the news, they're trying to shore their border up. Well, they're going to go where it's easier to cross.
Right.
In some places where it's easier to cross, the lands are owned by these Indian reservations, and they really have nothing to protect the border. As recent as October, Tucson.com reported that many of the residents from Sasabe, that's in Mexico, in addition to human traffickers, are specifically targeting the Tohono O'odham lands to make the crossing. Tribal Chairman Verlin Jose said in a statement to the Arizona Daily Star that over 2,500 illegal immigrants were apprehended at the Miguel Gate, a tribal crossing used by tribe members to access their ancestral lands bisected by the border. So they're coming into places that are weak. They're going through the weak spots.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of protection there. So it makes sense that the cartels would do this. And as they're bringing them up. And then we got some statistics here. Mark Evans, Pima County spokesman, told the outlet that the county authorities captured about 2,600 illegal immigrants the same weekend, bringing the total number of Mexican nationals in their custody to 3,200. But we're gearing up for another 800 to 900 more illegal immigrant releases a day.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
That really is.
Those are the kind of numbers we were seeing at the end of September and early October when we were in crisis. When we were in crisis, sounds like we're still in crisis.
Exactly.
A spokesman from the Customs and Border Patrol Protection told them callous smugglers continue to move migrants through some of the more inaccessible and arduous terrain along the southern border. Migrants are forced to walk miles, often with little or no water. And that's where they're finding these bodies that some humans just can't take it. They just get worn out.
Right.
They have medical issues and they die along the way. We remain vigilant and continue to adjust our operational plans to maximize enforcement efforts against those non-citizens who do not use lawful pathways or processes. The spokesman said, those who fail to use one of the many lawful pathways have expanded and will be presumed ineligible for asylum. And if they do not have a basis to remain, they will be subject to prompt removal, etc. So there's a lot going on. Down here at the bottom, to conclude this, Gary, it says, and this is from Jose, the tribal chairman. He said this: in order to stop these situations from happening again, we need comprehensive immigration reform that addresses the root causes of migration and border security challenges. So I circled that in mind. What are the root causes? Why is the border so open? Well, here the specific root cause that they brought out was the danger to the people that are living there from the cartels.
Yeah.
And they said that there was like 3,200 Mexican nationals. Those are Mexican nationals. Those aren't people from China.
Right.
These aren't people from Latin America, somewhere further south or whatever it is. These were Mexican nationals. That particular place, they're fleeing for their lives. That needs to be addressed.
It does.
Other places, they're just coming across because the border's wide open. So the root causes, it depends, I think. If you have 1,000 people come across that border, you have different reasons why they're coming across.
Yeah.
But the reason why they're able to get across is the border is open. It needs to be shut down.
It does.
And let people come here, legally and safely. And if they're in Mexico and the Mexican government needs our help to shut these cartels down, I think if Mexico wanted to do it, they can get it done.
They sure could. And what's interesting is, speaking, I guess, from a political side point, that in the pandemic or during the pandemic, what happened to the borders? Well, they were shut down.
Exactly.
by the president.
They could get shut down.
So they can get shut down. And
they can get shut down.
This is a pretty scary thing, I think, for me, because I think of, well, you can shut the border down now, but all of these people are already here.
Yeah, you're right. We got to deal with the ones here, but we got to get the border shut down. The border's coming. And we need to figure out, and we're talking especially about those that are here to do harm America.
Right.
To take down America.
Yeah.
Thought from the good book today. And he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their dwelling place. Thank you for joining us and help us make the thin blue line a strong blue line.
Cop Talk is brought to you by the Strong Blue Line Ministries. Visit thestrongblueline.org to learn how you can support them and this podcast. Questions and comments are always welcome by email to coptalk@therev.fm. Follow, listen, and leave a review of the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Google Podcasts. Cop Talk is produced and edited by Gary Austin and a Rev FM production. Thank you for joining us on Cop Talk.